What is the shadow side? When we meet people, they are a mirror in front of us. I'm sorry to say. We look straight into the soul energy, and lots of things and issues, thoughts, understandings, beliefs are being activated in us. Other people always activate something within us, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Whew. Hi, this is Ash from the closet and hashtag 42, and it's quite connected actually to hashtag 41. Because I want to go back to the topic about the shadow sides. And I want to use a paranormal episode as well, again today from my life, to kind of wrap it up and put it into different perspectives. So what is a shadow side? What is it about us people, about you and about me, when we point fingers at others, when we judge, when we only see whatever goes on from one side, and we are letting ourselves being influenced by stories, rumors, and whatever we hear, blindsided, but only from one version in our understanding so we can make an opinion. What is it about people that we keep on doing that and let the old part of the brain dominate? Let our old brain kind of keep on making war, keep on making disputes and not peace from fear-based decisions and understandings. Why are the human being like this? Why aren't we being taught about inner child work and shadow side work when we are little? So we can grow up being more healthy and taking responsibility for our emotions and not be addicted to all the bad chemistry created by trauma and bad episodes from our childhood. And we carry it into our adulthood, and we keep on reliving old episodes from old emotions and old tears and old traumas again and again. Especially when we are in romantic relationships, it's activated because we don't dare to be vulnerable, and yet we are. And sometimes we meet people where we trauma bond instead of falling in love. We are being intrigued and we are being fascinated by the version we become when we have met those people. And we like what we see. We like to be seen, touched, moved, heard, loved, and recognized. We are being fascinated by the version we become. And in reality, that's a version of ourselves that is being created or maybe just taken out of the box, because it's not a version we don't know, but it's a version of us from our essence and our energy that's being manifested into something that we already are, but now it's being manifested into a new version of what we are and who we are in that lovely romantic relationship. And a lot of fantastic chemistry starts to produce in our body. And we are sometimes acting like we are crazy because nothing else matters. And all we want to do is be with that person so we can be that version again and again and again and relive that beautiful, fantastic version of ourselves in relationship with that person. That's what happens when we fall in love. Something comes out of the box from our essence that we already are. Because of all the chemistry in the body that goes hand in hand with the soul connection and the mind, body, soul, and mind, then we want more of it. And we are so familiar with it and we like it so much. We want more of it. But normally what happens is that we start to get to know that person. And we see that that person we have fallen in love with is not complete. There are many differences. There are many faults. And from my experience, I have heard so many times versions of who they are and what they like and what they can do, and they try to match my colors. And when I get to know them, they're not. They're their own colors. Then we start to project all our faults and all our insecurities and all our old childhood traumas, and especially our inner child screaming for more attention. And now suddenly you get another kind of attention that doesn't feel so good because that person you're in love with are projecting back to you, putting his or her shadow sides into action as well as you. Then the trauma bonding starts, or the disconnection starts. When the disconnection starts, it often reflects in how we kind of spend time together suddenly and how we suddenly argue and see each other from other perspectives. And that often leads to that we are leaving each other because it doesn't work out. It's not what I want. I don't want you. I want the version of me that was activated in the beginning. And here you are, and you're just disrupting it and ruining it and being that person I don't want because you're not what I thought you were and you're not what I wanted you to be. And everything goes out with the water in the bassinet. Out you go. Goodbye. And you think about that person as a big idiot. He couldn't, she wasn't, she didn't. And it's all blame on the other person. A full-blown projection against the other from the neglected and suppressed shadow side of you. Yes, you. But in reality, hands on your heart. In reality, it wasn't it? I like this saying, it takes two to tango, because something was being activated. And the people who often stay together when they come into that state of relationship, that part 2 of the relationship, and don't use and spend time in looking inward, but they just keep on acting out the inner child's wounded heart and wounded body and wounded mind toward the other one in one big battle. Cold, hot, cold, hot. I want you because I don't want to be alone. I want you because I want the version of me I had before in stage 1. I want you because I do believe in love. I want you because I'm still sexually attracted to you. But the coldness, I don't want you. You don't fit me. You make me act like this and that. You make me feel like this and that. You are not who you said you were. You are making me miserable. And the trauma bonding lives and thrives when relationships in that stage continues. And we don't look inward. We are not aware and awaken that we are the full responsibility ourselves. Yeah, the full responsibility ourselves in what and how we react in that relationship. In the trauma bonding, where we keep on reactivating old childhood traumas. And the body just reacts from the chemistry because the body knows the chemistry from prior in your life. and we become addicted to it. We cannot get out of it. And the relationship might stay on for years, but we are really not feeling good. We try, and we have moments where we meet that inner version of ourselves who we loved so much in stage 1, who we wanted to be all the time, but now are not, because she and he makes me feel and act like this. We are on a trip and on a downfall to having a misery life where we waste our time. We do. And I think it's time. I'm not the only one who speaks that, but I think we are a lot of people who think it's time that we take our breast in our hand. That's what we say in Denmark. Griber i egen barm. Take the breast, take the tits in our hands. Griber i egen barm. And that means, hold your own hand and be responsible. And start to be responsible for our thoughts and our feelings, our actions, and how we react. Which wave of emotions we want to serve, that's our own choice. It's time to work with our shadow sides and acknowledge them so we can create a better version of a life and of our reactions. I mean, we deserve it. So we can mature emotionally and attract more abundance, happiness, energetically. That's not bad, is it? Especially when we are in romantic relationships. Back to the question, what is the shadow side? When we meet people, they are a mirror in front of us. I'm sorry to say. We look straight into the soul energy, and lots of things and issues, thoughts, understandings, beliefs are being activated in us. Other people always activate something within us, whether it's good or whether it's bad. That mirroring, activating, is often from their attitude, actions, and behavior, or the way they move, dress, talk, smell, breathe, listen or don't listen, sing, run, dance, live, or even exist. They are a mirror of our own existence. Experiencing that person and experiencing our own selves instantly in that given moment always activate one or more shadow sides within us. Shadow sides. We get a sensation or a strong feeling that goes against that person, who is, just by being near us, activating it in us. Let me explain. A shadow side is an aspect of you that you don't want to acknowledge, or you are, or has a little bit, or is a little bit. It's an aspect of you. It's an aspect or aspects of you being a human being in this lifetime that you have dismissed, buried, or neglected for a long time. Maybe the most of your life, actually. Something that you don't like, want to embrace or be, and you have fought it and put it in the shadows instead of having it integrated or accepted it as a side or as a trait of you. Like I said, being a human being. You don't want to be that person, that woman, that human being. You are so much better. She is so loud, and you can hear her voice all the time, and she speaks so loud, and she speaks fast, and I don't like that.
Hello?
Come on, hold your tits. Hold your breast. Take responsibility. When are you too loud? When are you too much? Speaking too fast and too loud? Or when are you too little? Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? So, that projection against her speaking too much and too loud and too fast and she irritates you. That's an aspect of you being activated from these shadow sides.
Yeah.
From these shadow sides. In reality, you are. But being that human being, you are actually no different than the person mirroring you. The shadow sides thrive and live in the shadows in your mind and in your body, where the wounded inner child is living and dominating. Inner child. Yeah. Oh, that's a hard one. The wounded inner child that wasn't acknowledged and seen, loved, or embraced as wanted and needed when you were her, when you were the child, is from childhood traumas. She goes, that inner child, hand in hand with the shadow sides. She shows her face in your behavior or in your actions, and in your reactions when you meet and are being mirrored from another human being that irritates you or gets to you, that you don't like. And you start projecting your own stuff onto that person, and you start pointing fingers. Oh my goodness. When we have an activation of one or more shadow sides meeting that awful in quote, person, the loud woman here, we have a unique opportunity to grow as a woman, as a person yourself, both spiritually and personally, when we have awareness of what really goes on within us. It's back to the awareness. It's back to the inner work. It demands awareness, and sometimes therapy is needed. And I will mention more about it in the end of the episode here, because there's so much more to say about it. Whew. I have mentioned words like this before in other episodes, but it cannot be repeated enough, because I fall into the rabbit hole again and again like everybody else. We all do. But I like when I feel that there is like an exit in the rabbit hole where there is light. And I can come through and I can see and I can sense a reality where there's wisdom, there's knowledge, and there's a remembrance. Remember that it doesn't have to be like this. It's not really meant to be like this. Because honestly, we are not here to suffer. But how we react to episodes in our lives, and how, especially in the romantic relationships where we get vulnerable and where we see sides of ourselves because of all this crazy chemistry going on in the body. And we see sides of ourselves that we love, and then suddenly we see sides of ourselves where we have an inner child who's screaming out from old wounds and traumas and tears. Wow, that's hectic. Wow, I can only say that's bananas. But it happens. And it happens to all of us again and again. But we are. And how can we remember? I think that listening to my podcast, because I say a lot of the same things, but it's my way to do the podcasts to inspire you. It's also my own way to remember who I am and remember to hold my breasts, gribe i egen barm, and know that I am responsible for my actions and my reactions.
Yeah.
We are responsible. I don't have to be victims of my thoughts and my emotions. Hear me. You don't have to be a victim of your thoughts and your emotions. You are so much more than that. I am so much more than that. When I saw years ago sitting with a physical medium, a spiritual medium who could create something called ectoplasm out of his mouth. What is it there? Like a material that comes out from his spirit energy in combination with his body's fluids and essence. It comes out, it can come out like a cloud or like a cloth or like something hard, colored or white or see-through. It doesn't matter. Something came out of his mouth in ectoplasm. And in the ectoplasm, as it came out of his mouth, there were faces of deceased relatives. But it was faces that was moving. And we all sat in that circle in a group, watching the spiritual medium, having the ectoplasm coming out of the mouth, and the little faces in red light, where you could see a lot of the details because we only sat about less than 1 meter, about 3 feet from the medium. I was next to him in red light. The little faces, deceased people connecting to their relatives who was in the group, showing and saying that death doesn't exist. Death doesn't exist. We are here. And one of the faces of my friends, I had a friend with me there, her brother-in-law, who died when he was in his late 30s, his face came out of the ectoplasm and he was moving it, like you have seen the live pictures in a Harry Potter movie. And she recognized him. And in my first reaction, I was like, wow, what a handsome man. And she was like, this is my... And she knew him. She knew him. And when you have experiences like this, and when you see something together with other people that are so much out of the ordinary from what we are brought up with, but it's just a reality, as a reality we live from outside the circle where we sat, it alters your perspective of life. It alters your perspective of how the world is actually put together and who we are and what we are.
Yeah.
And those little faces shows us the proof of an afterlife, that there is other realities, something else is going on. And I'm saying this in the connection with the shadow sides and the projections we put out, and in our reactions and how we damage and we manage to ruin our relationships and a part of our life, I would say, when we work it out in a really bad manner and we end up hurting each other and splitting up and leaving each other and making bad blood. We ruin ourselves because we are not supposed to be like this. This is not our natural state. Our natural state is love. And it's not a cliche. It's a freaking fact. Our natural state is love.
Yeah.
We come from love, love, love. We are love. We are part of the big creation. We are connected to something so much bigger, so much profound than a silly, stupid relationship where our inner children are working against each other and manifesting bad blood and bad thoughts and bad emotions and unhappiness. But hey, why do we do it? Why? I can only give you the question why, because you are responsible for you and I'm responsible for me. We can only be aware and try not to act it out and do it again and look inward and take care of that inner child, because that inner child, she is pure love also. She just wants to be seen, heard, and be told that she's safe. No more old wounds. No more old tears. No more old traumas. It's just a part of your history. It's just a part of my history. It's not who I am. And from that platform, we can do things differently. We can work ourselves through the emotions when they show up, knowing that it doesn't have to be like it has been before. No, we don't have to act out and project our own inner child and pain and traumas and old tears on other people. We don't have to speak badly about other people because it comes back as a boomerang to ourselves. From the platform, knowing that we are love, that we are the creators and manifestors, and taking you back to the moment here and now, like I did in the last episode, where you kind of sense and feel yourself from that platform that you are more than just the wounded woman, the wounded child. That's just your history. Wow, that was a lot of words. But I know from seeing things like the little faces in the ectoplasm with the spiritual medium, I'm not a believer. I know it exists. I have seen them. And this is just one of the episodes where I tell you that I have seen them. Them. They are souls, love connected to the big souls like you and me. And they want us. Every time there's been a physical communication where they speak out, they always say, live your life. Live your life and be happy. Get the best out of it because it takes a moment and then you are out of that life. So let's embrace life. Get the best out of it. Choose whatever makes us happy and be nice to each other. We can start to be the people where we are nice to each other and we don't project, but we embrace and we share, we inspire and we love. And then we can have some more sex, of course we can. It also goes hand in hand, you know. Yeah, in a way. So wake up with me. Come on, let's wake up.